meeting is called to order. Let's rise and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. If you're wondering why some folks have apples and some don't, I was here earlier in the day and was distributing apples back then. So they are from our yard. They're very good apples. Enjoy. Happy fall. Roll call. Lisa. Here. Lori. Here. Chuck. Linda's here. Tom.
Here.
Tanya is ill tonight. Jeremiah had a death of a very close friend, and so he went home to be with the family there. So I need a motion to accept. Are there any changes to the agenda, Mr. Legerson?
Yes. For the consent, add revision of policy 413 to designate human rights officer as the superintendent.
Okay. That's this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when it was last reviewed, that was not designated. So that's the only change in it.
Okay.
Then under new business addendum to the secondary handbook, sure, we had that in the principal's reports where they send out at the end of the week packet. And just under, not as an addition, but during the board report, talking about who will all attend the MSBA conference in January.
Mr. Root, are you going to speak to us about the earbuds?
Yeah, I can, yeah, whenever you want.
Yeah.
Good.
We'll do it later, like in the
So,
principal. Okay, so then I need a motion to approve the agenda, adopt the agenda.
I'll motion.
Second. Are there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The consent agenda, and we talked about there's that one revision of policy 413. Is there, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Tom,
I'll second.
Lori, is there any discussion on consent agenda approval?
I just have one question on D4. What's going on with food service? All the hires there, and exactly what is a kitchen sub?
Kitchen sub is just kind of like how we have a sub for a para or a teacher. They're just somebody that is designated that can fill in. We do have to do background and checks, so that's where that's from. We did have somebody that came on board, and then there was a miscommunication regarding some of the, let's see. Like how, give me a second, I have to think about how I say it, so I say it correctly. There was a miscommunication about when the first paycheck would be issued, and that caused a little bit of an issue. And so there was a little bit of changeover from somebody that we thought was going to be starting, and then they changed their mind.
Are we fully staffed down there now?
We're still looking for a head cook, though hopefully that will be filled soon, hopefully.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion and we have a second, I believe. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. Motion carries. Reports and correspondence.
Kelsey will not be here. She is also dealing with the death of a very close family person. So, any questions that maybe Brad can answer that you have? Looks like she's doing some fun things with girls basketball and boys basketball, teaming up and doing that.
Do you know who's playing donkey basketball, like where the team's gonna be at?
I do not.
You don't?
Unless they have several people that kids have like nominated to play.
Okay,
So she's just in the process of trying to make sure that they,
okay. I didn't know if it was like students and staff
I
or
think it will
community
be.
members.
I think it'll be all that.
Okay.
Anything else for Kelsey? All right, I did skip you guys, I just wanted to see about Kelsey. All right, you guys are up.
We're here to talk about homecoming week. So I am the vice president of student council.
And I'm the president of student council. Basically, it was a really fun week overall. The juniors won the Spirit Award, and senior girls beat the sophomores in the finals for Powder Puff. There was a dance after the game that everyone enjoyed that was there. Yeah, there's high participation for all the activities and dress ups this year. We definitely noticed that too.
Some improvement definitely for the afternoon activities. We had more participation from students this year. And then we will also be hosting a Veterans Day program at 9 a.m. November 11th in the secondary gym. And there will be another program at the elementary later that day. Any questions?
So last year, didn't the dance get canceled or had low participation?
I don't think they even had a dance last year.
It was a fall formal, like during fall, more
Yeah.
later on.
I think it was in November.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Thanksgiving time.
So what do you think made the difference for getting some excitement?
I think this year it was more of a casual thing and not like a dress up. Like Eldred had said, just go how you came to the football game, because it was right after the football game. I think that helped make people not so like needing to dress up, like needing to find a dress and all this other.
And I think a lot of people wanted to have a dance because other years we didn't have a homecoming dance. That's usually a big thing. So
Are you going to have a fall dance?
we were talking about it. We might discuss that at our next
Mhm.
meeting.
I know some kids were all excited and had dresses bought.
Yeah, I know there's miscommunication there, but
That's perhaps. Right, sounds good. You guys are doing good. Thank you. Come again. Bring the secretary with you next time.
Yeah.
All right. Mitchell. Mitchell represents baseball group.
Yeah, I'm vice president of our Long Prairie Baseball Association, and I'm just here to talk to you tonight about just a couple items that we're looking at doing for projects for the Baseball Association, kind of coupled with softball. So the first one is the batting cage down at the varsity field. This is when we kind of first started. We did some upgrading. We put in turf inside of it. And right now, at that time, we just didn't have a lot of funding ourselves, just kind of doing it man hours as we could. Now we have a chance to make it usable and a little bit more functional. One of the things I noticed this year was the net is in bad shape. And luckily for us, one thing that we did do probably 2 years ago now, we purchased an indoor batting cage that's at the varsity, or excuse me, at the high school for baseball and softball. Well, that net is no longer, the old one is not being used. So what we're looking at doing is transferring the old one that was in good shape. It was just tough to install in the indoor setting. We're gonna put in, we'd like to put in new poles, new design out here, at no cost to the high school or to the school at all. It'll be, volunteer hours, from the Baseball Association, and, just get something in there that's, safer for the kids. One of the things is it has too many poles. If they hit the ball and it hits one of the poles that are close, it can ricochet back at them. There's also holes in that cage, so a ball can come out. And this summer, there was Little League going on, or not Little League, but toss ball going on down there, and our kids were taking batting practice just with timing, and it was just not a very friendly environment for everybody. So we just want to make that upgrade. And again, like I said, there's no cost. So.
Does he need permission from anybody to do something with school equipment?
Well, I can give it if there's consensus for me to give it.
So yeah, we'll keep it pretty minimal. Obviously, we're not gonna be doing it during school hours because we all, work and have jobs. It'll be after school. There's not a lot of movement down there, in the fall time. So just something we're looking at doing.
Anybody have an issue with them going ahead and making those improvements?
If the netting is there in storage.
For sure.
Yeah, we're gonna take advantage of, if we can, if we find that the net isn't usable, but I'm pretty sure when we put it away, it was. If we find that it's not, we'll purchase a new net on our own and put it in there, so. And no expense, again, to the school, we're looking to do this solely by ourselves, so.
That way it's either it should be out of storage one way or the other.
Correct, it is best for the net to be
Makes sense to keep it.
Yep,
So,
And it's a safety thing for the other kids around.
absolutely it is, yes.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else?
So I'll go to the next item. The next item is the softball fence. We were approached by our coach, Joe Gaida, on potentially moving in the softball fence on the outfield. So a typical outfield fence is 200, and that's pretty much the consent everywhere you go. It's a 200-foot fence. Ours, for some reason, when it was put in, was quite a bit deeper than that. And he asked if it would be possible for us to do. I got a hold of a fencing company. The fencing company is called Oberg Fencing. They gave me an estimate of $4,276 to do. I talked to our treasurer and said, hey, is this something we could do or afford to pay for? And he said, yeah, I think we can come up with the funding one way or the other. So again, this would be no expense to the school. There was expressed some concern from the high school janitorial staff on the sprinkler system. There is a few things we can try and find the lines, right? I talked to this Oberg Fencing. One of the things that he can do is we can't reuse the posts that go into the ground, but we can reuse the fencing, move that in, those type of things. And then with the sprinkler system, we can try and find the lines the best we can. Something can happen, right? But to that extent, you're driving a 2-inch round item into the ground. Good chance if it hits it, but it's going to push off to the side or move off to the side. If something does happen, we'll have to address it at that time. But we feel the improvement is something that should be done, and we have fixed the sprinkler system down at the baseball field on our own before when something has happened. So we probably can assist in doing those type of things and making repairs if needed. Again, it's not like, right, you're gonna hit every single line that comes up and maybe one if it gets hit. Mind you, the posts are roughly 10 feet apart too, so they're not, every 6 inches you're hammering a hole into the ground. So with that, that's what we're looking to do there. Obviously, a little bit different of a subject, but we'd like to pursue it if at all possible, so.
Have
You wanna
different,
turn this into a home run field or what?
No, what we'd like to do is get consistent with everybody else that's around. For softball fields in general, 200 feet is that's the consistency of it. It doesn't really matter where you go to, I'll take any of the towns around, that's what they are. I would say out of the whole, even the state, 99% of them are gonna be 200-foot softball fields for high school girls softball. that's what, you know, what is possible to do, and it's, again, we're paying for this out of our expense. We're not trying to put any more costs in the school than we can.
Is that distance arbitrary? Can you set it whatever you want, or does the high school league or something?
The high school league does not set it, they'll set it at a minimum distance, but we can set it for the distance that it's a very common distance, if that makes sense, as far as the, what it's set at. Now, high school fields, as far as baseball fields, you know, they can be a little bit more forgiving that way because they understand that they're only dealing with so large of area as well, right? So.
Have any other coaches noticed that ours is farther back?
Yeah, we've had comments that it is quite a bit further, and then, you know, it's always it's a catch-22 thing, like why is it so deep? And you know, you just answer, well, that's what they did, you know, and maybe at the time that they did it, maybe it was just something they did. There wasn't really I don't want to say any thought put to it, because I'm sure there was, but just the thought process has been refined, so.
So what is it at right now?
It's like at 230 feet, 225 in the corners, that's what it's at.
Is it that far? I remember we had this discussion a while
Yeah,
ago.
so it's.
And we kind
Go
of
ahead.
found that it wasn't as far out as we thought.
So they originally moved it in once, it was actually like 235, and they moved it to 225 in the corners and 230 in the dead center, if you want to call it that, so.
And was there something that we wouldn't be able to use the wind?
The windscreen will be a little bit longer, but it's gonna be, it may wrap, it may wrap around the corners, but it may not too. It just depends on where it comes out at. They can also be modified, the windscreens can. If we have to tuck them back or do something like that, we certainly can, so.
Is there anything else from the school to give them permission to do this?
Because this will be, and again, this will be done by a contractor. We won't be, because they're gonna come in with a air hammer to basically pound the post, and this will be nothing of our doing. And from indications of the contractor, they can do this in one day. So they'll be in and out, pull the post, pull the old post, be in and out.
You're hoping to do this by next spring?
We would like to get on his radar for this fall, but fall projects are a little bit tough. So if we wouldn't do it this fall, it would be after the season in the summer. So that's our hope and our process.
My understanding from Russell was that, like, pulling it in, like, it'd basically be putting it in between two sprinklers, and that's how you figured it out with Russell, is that?
Yeah, so I did not meet with Russell. Jesse Schwartz-Truer, our treasurer, did. He's the one that's kind of been heading up. He just didn't want to come tonight for some reason. So he had talked to Russell about it and got his blessing on it. And we talked through it again. You know, we'll help out and do what we can if we have problems, those type of things. So, and this is something too. If we do. Right, my guess is right now we're gonna get a little late because it's been, I think I talked to you about this maybe a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. If he has, if he's had projects like jump in front of us, there's a good chance that we'll end up doing it next summer, which then will give us a little bit more time to iron out some details if necessary.
Again, how does that go about? Does they need board approval, or do you have to
Consensus is
look
what we
into
did.
it, or?
Consensus is enough for me to talk to Mitch. I just wanna make sure there's consensus. It's the Baseball Association's money. I know that, school's been asked, but the school, like with their own money has had other priorities, and so that's why.
And we understand that, you know, this isn't priority stuff for the school. This is just an opportunity for our type of organization to step in and help out on some of these things. Obviously, some things are over our head that we just can't financially afford, but you know, we're just doing the best we can with what we got. So if you're looking for anybody that wants to join something, we're always taking members, that's for sure.
We greatly appreciate you guys thinking of us, we really do.
No problem, thank you.
Anybody else have a problem?
You haven't chosen a contractor or anything yet, this is just an.
For the fencing, we'd be going through Old Fencing.
Okay.
They're based out of, and I'm gonna say this wrong, I think they're based out of Brainerd.
Yeah.
is where they're based out of. These companies, there are not a lot of local contractors. If there was a local contractor, we would certainly use that contractor. But there's not a lot of people that do this type of activity. In my other job that I do, obviously we're Todd County, fencing people this is one of the contractors that we've used in the past. And it's usually I can only get maybe 2 bids if I'm lucky, so.
Obviously, they're insured and bonded.
Yes, correct, that is correct.
All right, do we have consensus for that part?
I think so. I think we've done major improvements for other sports. I think an improvement to allow them to do it, I think it's a good idea.
Got that?
Okay, so we're good to go on both projects?
Good to go.
All right, thank you very much, appreciate your time.
Thank you
Yeah, no
again for
problem.
help.
Yes, okay.
Wait. We'll let Kurt go first. You don't wanna sit through this.
I'll probably stay here till the end anyway, because it's appropriate to do, but. Okay. What I'm gonna talk about tonight is talking about some opportunity costs. And, what does the FFA provide for the school district, and how can we fix a few things? But I'm just gonna talk about this, I'm gonna have a little speech here and have some numbers to throw at you, so. Then I'll answer any questions you have at the end. The FFA is a national organization of school-based agriculture students reaching from the state of Alaska to the Virgin Islands and from the state of Maine to Hawaii. Our mission statement, FFA makes a positive difference in the lives of students by developing their potential for career leadership, personal growth, and career success through an agriculture education program. This is accomplished through individual experiences, chapter activities, and community service. FFA is an integral part of our agriculture program approval with the Minnesota Department of Education. Without our program activities, the LPGE would not qualify for career and tech ed levy funding from the state and access to Carl D. Perkins funding requests to enhance program improvement within the high school. Because of this tie in the last 15 years that I've been here, LPGE has gained access to funding dollars to purchase over $80,000 worth of equipment to improve our CTE classes here. There are 3 vocationally certified staff members in our district, Mr. Bothan, Ms. Hanson, and myself. Through the CTE levy, 35% of the total costs of our programs are reimbursed to the district annually. LPG has received donations from many groups and businesses of equipment and supplies to lessen the burden of operating budgets. I've spent many days in summer workshops learning new information and getting access to new engines, to new tooling, and new supplies. The FFA chapter today is competing against chapters with multiple ag teachers, multiple FFA advisors from larger schools with more students and larger budgets, larger supporters and better trained student competitors, and succeed at regional events. This is what our chapter's up against. What are the costs of FFA annually? A quick look at our 2024 budget revealed these annual expenditures. Busing sat at about $3,328.60. Our state and national dues at $919.83. Our state convention registration at $1,355. Our FFA uniforms around $700 through the 50-50 lease program, where the student and parent pays half now, and in 5 years when they graduate, they either pay the other half and keep it, or they give us back the jacket and the tie. FFA chapter t-shirts annually runs about $1,500. So our total expenses for a year for 2024 was $7,852.22. Our income annually, FFA fruit sales generates close to $6,000. Last year it was $6,365.97. We usually work the Gray Eagle Lions Club tractor pull, that's $1,000. We usually use that to pay for our membership. So our total annual income is around $7,365.95. And if you looked at our income over expenses, you'll find out that we're negative spending $486.25 a year. And we haven't purchased any study supplies, no online training memberships, paid for any chapter activities, or sent anyone to summer camps like State Green Hand Leadership Camp or State Leadership Camp for chapter leaders, or repair either the vending machines that used to be unplugged by former ADs, coaches, and parents during athletic events, nor built any funds for attending national convention. I do not see a bill for hotel rooms for the state convention, so believe me when I say it's a huge thank you to the district for that. But you can see the pickle that the FFA is in every year. Less than 6 years ago, we kept things in the green within our chapter finances. When I first came here, we had chapter banquets, we sent kids to leadership camps, so on and so forth. Now over 88% of our income is spent on yearly expenses. We didn't go to every FFA event regionally, but we're not where we were back then. The rules of financing the FFA and the district have changed, and somehow I wasn't informed when this occurred. Before 2023, it had been 15 years since the FFA took a chapter trip to National Convention. I know this because myself, I went with Sonia Stottaru and Eagle Valley rode with them that year. So I know it's been a long time. And when I selected students to go with, I evaluated spots based on fundraising that they brought in. Time spent at events in the last year as a criteria. I'm leaving students at home that have contributed to fundraising in hours, but I just couldn't afford to take them. And that doesn't sit well with me. And I've spent countless hours reflecting on that situation this last week. The National Convention is a great event to experience as an FFA member. I know one FFA member that attended this as a sophomore in 1988 and again in 1990 who saw the potential benefits of the FFA organization. And he used his experience to gain knowledge in selecting his career in agriculture. You can come and look in his office and see where the FFA has taken him in his career. 2 years ago, I made sure another potential ag teacher had the opportunity to experience the National FFA Convention. I made sure she and other students made contacts with potential colleges to further their education past the secondary level. I worked with our local alumni to see that she could attend her state cross-country meet on the same weekend. So at 4:30 a.m., I dressed in a full suit and tie, brand new, so I could go have my award later on that day. I got her to the airport in an Uber. I saw her to the gate. When my cell phone wouldn't work on the Uber app, she scheduled me another Uber from her seat in the airplane. So where there's a will, there's a way. Something needs to change financially if the FFA is to continue to provide the results that are intended. This is the only district I've worked at that operates this way. Every other district I've worked at has paid for travel and lodging out of some other account. I don't know how other teams or activities work. That's above my pay grade. I say that this is an important activity, but one that asks a lot of a teacher to do for the benefit of the students. Every time we do anything, I'm worried that this is going to cost us too much and we can't afford to do this. And when I stayed at school and worked the event, and I'm cleaning up at 8:45 in the evening after a game, I've asked myself, why am I doing this? And I have to answer, it's for the kids. What I'm doing will benefit them. I'm not sure others have to deal with all these items that I deal with day to day. Everything we do has an opportunity cost attached to it, and we hope that the returns are enough to keep us moving forward. FFA is just one part of a palette of colors that we, the school district, use to paint pictures of the world that we to enjoy. And a well-rounded student is our goal in education because these students will compete well in the workforce of tomorrow. This isn't intended to be a black eye event for you, the school board, the superintendent, or principals. Just a look into what I see from where I'm sitting as agriculture instructor here at LPGE. Thank you for your time, and I'll answer any questions if you've got them.
How is the ice cream doing? Has that been going over very well, or?
Well, we took a chance. I took a chance last fall and bought a used ice cream machine from a guy up in Bemidji. I drove up there, picked it up. We had 30 days to check it out, make sure it was good, kind of a warranty.
Oh.
It took us about 45 days to get it actually wired in so we could try it, and it turned out to be bunk. It was a water-cooled machine, which ended up being way more than we wanted, but it would have worked. But at one time, when it was stored, it must have froze because refrigeration was junk. So that cost us about $800. But I did call the guy, and he felt really bad about it. He gave us back $3,000 of the $3,800 that we paid him.
Okay.
And that's about as best as he didn't have to give us back anything.
Right.
And we did work with the company down in Taylor and Anoka and found another machine for about $10,000. So we still owe some money on that. We owe about $3,000,
Okay.
which I intend this year we should get that all paid off.
Good.
As far as the events, we haven't even had the machine for a year, so I couldn't tell you what it's going to generate annually. I know that volleyball in the fall doesn't generate as much as basketball or wrestling does in mid-season. So those were better numbers when we first had the machine. We generate a lot better numbers.
Okay.
So I'm in the matter of adjusting things to see, how big a serving size versus what kind of flavors, what kind of options, how much we run it, how long we run it. and all the consumables that are involved. So it's a learning process, but this is the first time you've done it. I mean, I've been running vending machines for close to 30 years, so, you know, you learn as you go, but you do make mistakes. And yeah,
So there is potential there.
there is potential there, yep, but we gotta pay it off first. And that's gonna take a little bit. Yep. Any questions? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you for what you do for the kids, for sure.
Thank you for your time.
Bye, girls.
And $1 million question, is it long enough? Yes.
Find out.
Well, good evening. Tonight is our annual data presentation for the assessments. I know that will tie into the CACR. Do I have that acronym right?
Yes.
I'm practicing. So that is also in that document as well, but this is kind of our district assessment results from last year. So I decided this year that we wanted, just since we have some new members, and just as a refresher, what are the big assessments that our district does? So we do 3, 4, 3.5 very big assessments. The Fast Bridge Screener Assessment is something that is given to students now K-12. Last year we kind of launched the K-12. This year we are required to launch the K-12. Up until then it has been K-8, but that ties in with the READ Act. And that screener is given 3 times a year, fall, winter, and spring. And that is just a short little assessment in the areas of reading and math, just to kind of see where students are and then show the growth from fall to spring. Did I do that pretty well? We've got our guru back here. So the one test that we don't have on here is the ACT. That is offered to
Juniors and seniors, and we do that usually in
February or March. Yep, and that is something we usually get 30 to 35 students.
I think last year we had 38.
Yeah. So that's a smaller test, but that is also one we do. The 2 very, very big tests are the access test, which that is a student all of the students that are identified as English learners. That is the test that they take usually in February. Our phenomenal ELL department is the one that administers that. There are 4 domains to that test. It is reading, listening, speaking, and writing. It is a big test, and they really lean into that and test a lot of kids with that. And then the Minnesota Comprehensive Assessment, or the MCAs as we affectionately call them, that is the state Minnesota test that is based on the standards. They are given in grades 3 through 11, 3 through 8, and then 10 is a reading test, and 11 is a math test. I have that in order. So grades 9 are not tested and grades 12 is not tested. They are given 1 time a year, usually in the month of April, like end of March, beginning of, or through April is what we kind of do. And that, and the areas are, I said that, reading, math, and science. So the results from last year are as follows.
So these are our math results. We do have 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 11th.
And that is percentages.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was what we were going to remember to say that. So again, the green is the state proficiency, and the blue is the LPGE proficiency. And this is reading.
Is that each graph like the total number or the number, the like the grade 3, 24 and 46?
So that's
those?
percentage of that met proficiency. There are
Okay.
4 levels. There's does not meet, partially meets,
Okay.
and then
Exceeds.
exceeds, thank you. That is slowly shifting over. Last year, as you'll see in the next one, the science test is new. It is the MCA 4 instead of the MCA 3. So they still have 4 bands, but it's beginning a little bit easier to understand. So beginning all the way up to advanced. This year, the Minnesota reading standards are implemented fully this year. So the MCA for reading will be new this year. We get a year off, and then the math one will be the following year.
Okay.
Yes,
Why does it drop off so much when they go into middle school?
that's a real loaded question.
That you don't have answers for, huh?
I do have some theories, so some of it is motivation. There's just it's hard and complex. So
Yeah.
it is. So
Do we report this data to the Minnesota Department of Education?
they report it to us. So this is like we get the
Okay.
results and at the end of August is when it becomes public. So we always kind of present usually in October. So this is all public information, and then they give us the results.
And then
Yeah,
parents will get go ahead, I was just saying, then parents will get the report at parent-teacher conferences.
Of their individual students.
Is the MCA optional?
Nope.
They have to take it.
Students can opt out of it if a parent signs that they cannot opt out of it, but if a parent doesn't give us a form, then yeah, they are required to take it. So,
So here's our science. Yep, so again, we have 5th grade, 8th, and we just put high school on there, because
it's
after you've taken, is it
biology, yeah. So this is phenomenal news for us. The whole state took a hit in science because it was a new test, but our high school actually exceeded the state. So that was that was a fun number to pull.
Can you say something a little bit to, our kids can read and do math?
Yes.
Just because that test doesn't
Correct.
show it? Tell us a little bit why you think.
So this test is at grade level. It is a standardized test. Our kids, we like to look at our numbers in growth. You will see really across the state, and that was part of the READ Act. Like, we'll just take reading, because that's kind of the one that I speak to. Across the state, everybody is below where it should be, and it keeps dropping. We have really high hopes with our READ Act and the training that we've gotten, that those numbers will start to grow. We just got trained this year, or last year. We're implementing this year, so that's kind of what we're hoping. So we like to look at the growth of the students. They are learning. This is hard because it's a one-day test and it is a standardized test. So we have a lot of language learners. Doesn't matter when they come, everybody takes the test. So
Do the language learners take this test and the
Yes.
access test?
yes.
And they take this test in English?
Yes. So they take this test in English, they take both tests, they are tested hard. So it is, it's, like I said, we've got work to do, we have some hopes, but yeah, this is the science one was very encouraging to see. So this is our trend data. So what you will see is like each color that follows the grade down. So that way you can kind of see where they were at each grade. So if you take a 3rd grade in 2021, we did not test in 2020. In 2021, in yellow, that is the 3rd grade. Then in 4th grade, you just go over 1 year, and so you can kind of follow those down. So that we are able then to follow that group of kids. And this is for math. Other way. And then this is for reading. and then we include science. It's a little bit harder to follow that trend because they take it in 5th, 8th, and then for us, it's usually 10th grade. They can take it in 11th or 12th. That's why it's called, according to the state, it's called the high school test. We have a tendency, most of our kids take it in 10th grade because that's when they have biology. So it's a little bit harder to follow the trend because they jump around, but it is there. So, and again, the numbers are very low this year. The bar is because you cannot really compare all from 2014 to 2024. That was one test. The 2025 test is a different test. So we will begin to get trend data with that test. So this is our FastBridge results. This is a little bit more telling for us to say, yep, our kids are learning. With our new data warehouse, some of the reports that I was able to pull with the last one, I'm not able to pull. I'm still playing with it. I spent a lot of time playing with it. This is what we have for this year. I'm hoping next year I'll be able to drill down a little bit more into the grades. But for the elementary, we have, so like the hot pink is no to little growth. That does not mean, we have some kids that do little growth, but if you look at the moderate, typical growth and aggressive growth, all of that is 75% or higher. And with the no growth or little growth, remember those are also including our kids who score really well, and then their growth each year probably isn't going to be as big. So again, it's a lot of complex formulas. So
Do you see a lot like in the spring and then it drops in the fall, just because of the summer?
yes.
I noticed
I'm leaning over because I'm gonna say yes, because you are the ones that are right in the weeds with it.
Can I talk?
Mhm.
Typically a score in the fall on FastBridge drops to what they had scored in the winter of the year before.
Okay. I noticed it because we just gotten ours and I noticed, it dropped a little bit and I'm like, oh, I wonder if that's typical.
Yeah, and that is also something new with the READ Act, that we are sending out those letters and those reports. Secondary parents, they're coming. We just put a whole pile in the mail today, but that is something that we'll send out in the fall and in the spring. So that's part of that as well. So, and this is reading, the other one was math. And then the access test, if you want to talk about that, kind of the 4 domains.
Sure. Yep, our 4 domains are reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So again, all students who are identified as our English learners, or the ELs, take the access test. So that includes the students who receive ESL services and even those who don't. So anybody who are the parent, I believe it's if the parents say that Spanish or another language is spoken in the home, will have to take the access. So then they'll receive a score in each domain and receive a composite score of everything. So here are the progress towards English language proficiency results. So again, the green is our state, and then we have our district, and then the elementary. So again, this year, which we're happy about, our elementary is much higher than the state, and then the secondary.
And that has been traditionally, I think this is like the 4th year that we have seen this. That language proficiency, it is really the ability to speak, write, read, and listen in the English language and do that effectively. Talking to the ELL department, I know it looks like there's a big drop-off. As kids get older, as we all get older, it gets harder to learn new things. So again, with the secondary, if you have kids who are moving in as a 10th grader as opposed to a kindergarten or 1st grader, the learning curve is just a lot steeper. So that does definitely play into the secondary as well.
Are the same ELL teachers at the high school as the elementary, or they're different ones?
Yeah, correct, okay. Correct. So. We are continuing a history of having a higher percentage of ELs meeting, passing their learning target in the elementary than the state. That is something, so this is each, I don't know the formula of this, the ELL department knows these pretty well, but each student gets kind of like a predicted learning target, And then if they meet or pass that learning target, that is what shows up on the access test as well. And again, we are exceeding the state in that, so. This is a breakdown a little bit, so we said they get a composite score. In that composite score, there is 6 different levels that goes from entering to all the way up to bridging. So this is the data broken down for our elementary. You will notice that when they come into kindergarten, we've got a really big entering group, but then you'll see how it drops from kindergarten to first grade. Last year, we tested 357 students, which all the other schools in our area, when we go to our assessment coordinator meetings, like, oh, with so many kids, we have to test 10 kids this year, and we're like, aren't you funny? So they will often come to us and say, what do we do for, this, that, all the behind the scenes stuff, and we're, let us talk to our ELL department. So they are really a powerhouse team, so, but that is our elementary. And then this is our secondary. Last year, every year we get more and more. We had 21 students that qualified to exit. Here we do we let them graduate from our ESL program, and they hold kind of a lunch at the beginning of the year. They tell them that, like, you graduated. So this is something that is just really exciting, and every year it seems we're getting more kids that are graduating from that program. So, and that means they need to have a composite of, is it? I don't remember. 4.5?
3, I think it is.
Yeah, 4.5 or higher, yeah, so I think is what it is, so, okay.
All right, so these are some things that we've been doing in our school. So far, we continue to have win time, so what I need, if all elementary grades and reading classes are still continued through grade 8. We've been using the MDE data and reports, also using IXL, which is a computer program to take a closer look at the Minnesota standards, and we're trying to fill in any extra holes in our curriculums. All of our staff, like Beth said earlier, has been trained with the science of reading using letters or the OLA. We've also started to utilize the math training at the elementary school that aligns with our new Minnesota math standards. We're continuing to adopt the ESL strategies in the general ed classrooms. And also we have our FastBridge benchmark testing for all grades this year, K-12.
Sure, go ahead.
Since you've been talking
Yeah,
a lot.
go ahead.
All right, we also, PBIS is fully implemented at both elementary and high school, which is great. We also continue to have our behavior intervention specialist this year, which has been really great. Thanks to Mike Zimmerman is doing that. We also have licensed social workers, both in elementary and high school. We have our BLAST team at the elementary school, and the SAT team is at the high school. And we're also continuing our BOLT. And again, that's just two days this year for BOLT, and then I believe we're still doing TAP, right, Brad?
Yes, we are.
So, and I believe our numbers keep increasing, so we're happy about that.
And I think that's it. I didn't put in a thank you. Questions that you guys have? It's a lot of information to throw at you. We can also share this with you if you want to reach out to us. We can share the slideshow with you as well. If you want to take a closer look at the numbers. It is also in the comprehensive
Achievement, civic readiness
that one. Yes,
plan.
right.
Help me get a grip on this. You send the raw data to MDE, they correct it, and they send you back these graphs?
So all of our tests are online. So the students are online, it shoots automatically to there. They send the results to us. Some of the graphs I pull straight from the Minnesota website. Some of it I put it in so that it is more specific to us. So.
Any other questions?
I just wish people knew that our kids are learning, just because these results don't look fast.
Right. This is a hard one to share with the staff every year, but they are learning, and that's why, and we are doing things to improve it, but we have a very caring staff who cares about relationships, but also academics, and we have teachers who are continuing, how can I improve, what can we do to get better, so yeah.
And we do a lot, they do go above and beyond, you can just see the work as you're walking through the halls, or when I walk into classrooms to even, grab a student to meet with. I mean, there's so much energy in these classrooms, and the teachers are, I don't know, just fun to see, see everything.
You mentioned that the tests are taken in English. Fun fact that over 50% of our family's primary language at home is not English.
And both the access test and the MCAs are in English, so yes.
Are we getting some diverse kids that are older that can't read or write in their native language?
Yes, that has
So-
been
That messes
all
with us,
along.
yeah.
Yes, so, yeah, that's just it for some of our kids, and I don't know I don't have any numbers or any percentages. For some of our kids, even if they were to take the test in their own language, that wouldn't necessarily be, some of our kids do really well reading and writing in their own language. The kids that do read and write in their own language have a tendency to pick up English more quickly, but I don't have any kind of numbers of.
And we can't use that information anyway.
Correct, so, yeah, so.
Helps us understand anyhow.
Yeah, no, so.
If you take the year before I started to now, I think we have probably doubled our MLL population since then. Because we used like 175 to estimate, the number before. And we were getting up to 400.
406.
406.
As of October 15th.
I think the first year we were,
This fall, we've grown 57 kids since last fall that have EL services.
and I think either the first or the second year that we were the DAX, we were testing 280 kids. And so now last year was 357, so it's definitely growing, so.
It's probably gonna be over 400 this year.
So.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
ladies for what you do.
Yeah.
Thank you. Alrighty, on to the next thing. We are at the community ed. Any questions for Brad? And under that, Brad, it says achievement and integration plan?
Yeah, so each year, you guys have, we went through this a couple of times, but achievement and integration is an interesting grant. We qualify because we are a isolated district. So if you look at our achievement and integration grant, we have an interesting thing. Because we are the isolated district, we have the kids that speak, the MLL kids that we talked about. Because we have a vast number, and you have to have over 30%, well, we're way past that. We are actually what's called the isolated district. So there are districts that can join our group, our consortium is what they call it, and get money if they're willing to work with us to understand cultures that are around them. So when we go through this, we have, there's now, and I believe there'll be 8 now, but there's 7 right now, all the way from BBE, all the way down to Painesville, Albany, if you look at that, over to Osakis. That's all, just about every major district along those routes are one of our partners. So one of the things that we have to do each year is we have to, first thing you do is you have to write a plan that's good for 3 years, which we have to write with our consortium, which we did. And then there's an individual plan that works on the things that we need to work on as goals, because it used to be just, when this was first started, it was just called integration. It was working on cultural things, not necessarily on achievement. About 6 years ago, they added the achievement part, which means that they are, you're working on achievement also, and so money can be used differently. As our numbers continue to grow, so does the amount of money that we get. This grant is partially funded federally, but most of it comes from state money. And the money is based on how many EL students you have and how many are active EL students. So we do not get money for the students that, if you have a student that might say, okay, our English is a second language, but I don't want to do anything with EL services. We do not get funding for them for that, so it's actually for those kids. The grant is about $221,000 this year. And if you ever want to see the whole budget, I could do that. It's about 14 pages long, so it's kind of a long thing. We spend $168,000 a year on support. So basically it goes to a couple of different places. We have two teachers up in the high school, 2 paras that work with kids directly, and they do a really nice job. And they are in the classrooms as a support service, and this grant pays for that. It also helps pay for our liaisons, so Guadalupe Montanez over here, and we have a brand new person over here. I always forget her name. Valeria. And helps pay for their salaries. And then there's another thing that it pays for. It also helps pay for, there's about $7,000 or $23,000 that helps pay for our instructional coach to work on things with that help with literacy. And then there's a $7,000 stipend that pays for direct services. So what we can do with that money is used for doing things with the staff. And this year we have chosen we are going to offer WIDA courses. So our staff is going to be able to take WIDA courses online, which are free to our school because we're a WIDA district. And then that money can be used for stipends if they take it. So if there's 4 courses or 5 courses that you want to take, you can take those courses and you'll get reimbursed for them that time you take it. So we've taken that money and put it into professional development, which is also part of the grant. So there's a lot of moving parts with this grant. And then the other part that there's about $4,000 that we spend on the actual integration with other districts. So that would be the services that we give to the other districts or the activities we do. So during the year, we are required to do different activities throughout the district. So some of them are in person, where we actually go to a place and we'll do something with the other schools. Last year they did a couple of things that were in person, and then they also do at least once a month, sometimes twice a month. Some of our kids, different kids rotate through and they actually do activities online. So they're doing stuff with other kids and from other districts. And it really is, it's a pretty cool system when you watch that happen. So that's where the money is spent. So along with that, to get the money, besides the 3-year plan, each year you have to evaluate the plan that you have and the major goals that you have within that plan. So that's what we're going to look at tonight. So this is kind of a summary of that, rather than give you the whole thing, which is probably more than you need to know. If you ever want to look at the whole plan, you certainly can. So what I gave you is basically the front page is just who the contact people is, blah, blah, blah. So not too much there. But if you start getting into the second page, it talks about, on the bottom, it talks about one of our achievement goals. So these goals were set by people that worked on the grant, and then we also have similar goals. We have to have similar goals as the schools that are in our consortium. So the first one is just basically, if you look at it, that you see up top, it talks about the achievement integration and what it does, and that's kind of the whole thing. And if you look at achievement goal, the first achievement goal down at the bottom, is talking about AccuPlacer stuff. We don't use the AccuPlacer all the time. I know they're going to take it this year. But what we do through Mr. Young, I do through Mr. Young, is our kids we monitor our kids and then we report that data back. How many kids are applying for secondary education? That's a big push in the integration. One of the things that, the goals that you have to have is something to do with post-secondary ed and opening up those things. So if you look at that, it shows that, and that's a goal that we are making. If you take a look at it, we're trying to get to 40% of our kids that are at least interested or applying for education. Doesn't mean they have to go. And this year, if you look at down at the bottom, we actually had 37% of our kids that actually applied or went to a post-secondary ed, which for, now that's of those kids that are receiving EL services. So that used to be, when I first started doing this, we were at like 17%. So you can see our kids are opening the door to different possibilities and things. Then if you want to look at that, so how they kind of summarize this, there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes with it, but it says, are you on track or not? And we are on track. Our goal was to get to 40% by the end of the grant. And we are on track to do that, so the answer is yes. So if you look at the next one, reading proficiency. This is the only goal we didn't meet as a district. One of the things you have to have is you have to have a literacy goal. And our goal, if you look at it, we were trying to achieve the goal by getting to, if you look at the top, it tells you about all the stuff that you want to do. And if you flip the page, we are not on track because we did not make it. If you saw the MCA scores, and then we take the MCA scores, and then there's a conversion rate that we can use, and then we also use FastBridge scores. And our proficiency rate, if you look at both of those, because we don't have to, with integration, you don't have to be meeting the standard, but you have to be advancing towards it, and it's 39%, which is good. I mean, we definitely went up, but we were supposed to be at 45%, so we did not make that goal. And then if you look at the other part, baseline data, the second one, if you keep going down, it's going up. This is the self-awareness part. So one of the things you have to do with achievement is that you have to help kids understand the self-awareness of culture. So what we do is we give them it's a test that talks about what do you know about your culture, how do you feel about your culture, and then do you have questions, those kind of things. So through those integration days and things that we do, we're hoping to move that needle. And we did make that goal. The kids, if you look at it, the kids that took the classes and went through the AI process, all of them, I think except for there was like out of that there was like 6 kids that didn't feel like they had moved the needle at all. So we had 76% of our students that actually moved up at least 2 points, which is big because the whole thing is actually like 21 points. So did that. And then we have to also do a teacher equity goal, and it doesn't have to be just teachers, but it has to be staff members. What is it that our district is doing to try to hire more people that speak the same language as our kids do? And we've done very well there. We are on track to meet that. And then the competency of our kids, the people that we have, and that's through cultural stuff. 92% of our teachers make the state goal of having a cultural competency background when we go through professional development. So that's the overall, that's what happened over the last year. It's just kind of a quick down and dirty thing. If you ever want to see the whole grant, you can, because each of those goals has subdivisions and things that we're doing within the goal. One of them that we're doing, for instance, to help move that needle in the AccuPlacer is we're doing the career fair. And we already started planning the one for this year. That has made a big difference for the students to be exposed to colleges, careers right in your own school district where they don't have to go somewhere else is a big deal. So that fits underneath that AccuPlacer goal. So all these things have different things that we're doing to try to meet those. So there's one goal we didn't make. There is some kind of a consequence. We have not had that yet. The consequence would be is that they can withhold up to 20% and make us do either professional development or some kind of activity that'll move the needle on that. So it happens to deal with reading proficiency, so they could say, okay, you have to take 20% and put it towards more science and reading stuff if you're gonna receive this goal. But 20%'s a lot, because if you think about that, that's $40,000 that we can't use to do the things that we're doing. So we're hoping that does not happen. So overall, very successful program. The kids that are involved with it do a very good job. It's amazing to me how by the end of the year, the kids that in that consortium have really bonded. When they went to go, they actually did some stuff down in Melrose last year. And it was like they knew each other, like, they were classmates. They were talking to each other, oh, I know that kid, that's Gary over there. And that's Jose from Melrose, and it was really cool, so. Questions on that?
How much of this is federal?
Very little, actually. The state is the big contributor here. I think it's actually like 20% federal and then 80% state. It's a state initiative. You can take, so what they do is they get money, and you can actually, the state is allowed to determine how they use the money. And they take the money that they get and they pour it all into this grant, and then subsidize what we get also, so.
So you're in the middle of the 3 years?
Yes, we are in the middle of the 3 years, but the way I understand it, because of the administration that's, federal administration is wanting us to rewrite this. This is another grant that, because of difference in political views or something like that, however you want to say it, they may change a little bit how this is done. We're hearing that it could possibly mean that we have to do a complete rewrite this year and change what this grant actually targets. So, but as of right now, yes, we're in the middle of it, so. Any other questions? And I know it's somewhat confusing, but if you ever have questions, please feel free. I mean, I have all the budgets and all the stuff. You guys did, I don't remember this, but back in May, you did approve the budget and how we're using that. So. Okay, thank you.
Right, did we want to revisit what we started talking about last meeting? With Brad, with the cold and the robotics?
I did put in my report, so what I did is I went to the teachers and I thought, okay, we should really talk to the teachers and see what they did. And I think they gave me some very, very good insight, which I probably didn't have. First of all, when they were asked about adding back, the number one thing that they said, without the bus, our programs are gonna fail. And that's what I think, Nicole, you can vouch for that, because I think we were averaging 56 kids a night on the bus. That come either from the elementary, and we're averaging about, and we're talking that come from both. And we're averaging about 6 kids from the high school, plus all the sports kids and all that stuff that directly come from those programs. So that was their number one priority, is that activity bus is really important to the success of our after-school program, which I wasn't necessarily thinking that was gonna be the number one thing. But that was almost unanimous. The teachers said, if we don't have that activity bus, we're going to see kids that really need those supports not be able to have the supports, because they've talked to the parents cannot get here, they're either shift workers, or they just don't have the wherewithal to get here. The second thing they said is that we're facing a staffing shortage. Nicole, you can kind of vouch for that. Her and Vanessa are having lots of trouble finding that extra person even for the regular nights. So to find it for a third night might be difficult. But obviously, we would definitely try to do that if we wanted to add the boat program back. One of the things that a lot of the teachers said is that they do really like having the extra add-ons, which we had in the past. We do cooking club, we do a whole thing on crafts, we do a whole thing on that we've sponsored. We sponsored a thing through University of Minnesota Extension. We've done things through 4-H, we've done things through the county. They actually think that those things are just as important as that third night, because it opens kids' eyes to different things that they would probably not get if we just have the third night and gave those up. And then the other thing that they talked about, and if you can see in my report a little bit, is they talked about the importance of making sure that we keep those going, And then allowing us to have those really, really unique programs like robotics. Robotics program is an incredible science tool, plus it teaches them math and all the things like that. So teachers said, you know, those programs are just as important as going to both each night and giving those kids the opportunities, whether it's, you know, we pay for Math Masters, that's one thing we paid for in the past, we pay for all the busing for that. We pay for middle school knowledge bowl. There's, well, we've supported all the plays, all those things. So if they had their druthers, teachers said, let's keep those programs and see if we can go for a while and readjust and not have that third night. But try to encourage kids to go to extra things that are offered. Because they really feel that that's a big advantage, that our kids have, that other kids don't. So that's kind of where everything came out. We were, you know, one of the things you guys asked for is us to go and try to find donations. We did find $3,000, which will help a lot towards our robotics program. We're expecting the expected, so if you look at the kids that are coming back and moving up in that program, we're expecting probably 50 to 60 kids that will be involved with that district-wide. The reason we started the elementary program is to try to grow the high school program, and it's working. You know, I just talked to Mr. Nelson. He said, I've got 10 kids that come into my room on a weekly basis and ask, hey, are we gonna have robotics? When can we start? Which is cool at a high school level. So, and we also, the last 2 years, it's grown in the elementary. It went from like 27 to 34, and we're expecting probably those numbers again. So, going off of that information, you know, if you were gonna designate money, I'd really look at the activity bus, keep doing some of those unique programs that we can do, which we're offering, but we're having to offer them with money tied to it. We're trying to offer all that stuff, like robotics and those kind of things. And then I would say the last thing is that, you know, those really unique even one-offs help the kids, so.
With those, like cooking club and all those, are they done in time to take the activity bus home for those kids?
Yeah, anything that we have, we try to get done by 5 o'clock so they can get on the bus. 5 o'clock over here, 5:15 over at the high school, so they have that option. They just see that as such an essential tool for those kids, because without the bus, they won't come. So, you know, one teacher made it pretty plain to me. She said, Brad, 2 nights of being able to come from one family member, rather than no nights of being able to come, even though we're offering it 3 times, does not help. So we'd love to offer it 3 times if we could find staff to do it and had the money, but I know that there's gotta be a balance there, so.
And we have funding for the activity bus through December.
Through December, yep. And what we did is we really couldn't fund, so you have to do some juggling, you know. So what we did is we paid the school district, we paid for some things that help the school district out, and the school district is actually gonna pay that, but it's the same money. It's like a swap of money, because in order for us to be legal, we had to have that money all accounted for. So it doesn't cost the school district anything, we just paid off some of the other stuff, so, to make it legal. So I guess if I was asking for permission, I would ask for this year, from the school board, is to take some of that money, offer, you know, try to come up with a way to pay for that activity bus. It's approximately, it's running between $1,800 a month, $1,800 to $2,000 a month, if you think about it that way. And then try to offer some of those other programs. If we can subsidize some of that stuff to offer those programs, I think that would be our best bet. Money well spent. I think the teachers have some great insight and kind of understand what's going on with our kids very well. It's not that we wouldn't like that third night, but we also understand that district money doesn't grow on a tree. So, I don't know how you want to proceed.
Is there any more discussion out of the board?
I can answer any question, I'll try to. I wish we weren't where we were at, but we are, so.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Do we have to do anything with the budget if we wanted to make sure there was, let's say, transportation money?
Like, for this year, like, what we're looking at with where the audit's tracking is that we're gonna have a really good fund balance. The question is more so like when we get into next year, like sustainability. So, and our numbers are up from the beginning of the year and our yellow numbers are up, so like, I think we could swing it. I just can't promise that that's like, going into next year that we won't revisit the decision. However, it's supposedly frozen, so you have a crystal ball. But I hear the same thing that we don't believe that there'll be attendance at our boat program without some assistance with transportation.
And I think that's helping meet the achievement, the goals from this and from that grant and improve our test scores overall.
Well, and the other thing too is it's not just, you try to think district-wide. And we're always trying to promote kids to go out for sports, to do all those things. If we take that activity bus away, you're gonna see those numbers go down, especially at the junior high level. You probably won't at the high school level, but the junior high level, Kelsey and I had this talk today, that they rely on, even though there only might be 20 kids or 25 kids during a season, they rely on that bus to get home and have the chance to actually do those activities. Without that bus, parents are gonna pull them. And we don't want those numbers, to go down. So I think that's where the bus is really important too. It's not just for the academic part, it's also for the well-rounded part, which I think our district does a good job of offering a lot of stuff that some smaller districts don't. So we have to figure out a way, but we have a unique situation. I was looking at numbers, we had 21% of our kids turn over this year again. It's just crazy. We have the same amount, we have more kids, but 21% of those kids are different kids. Because we had the kids leave and come, and that's what makes it so difficult. Our testing scores, that's why it's so hard to give those things, because you're not testing the same kids all the time. It's like job turnover. If you think about a factory, how in the world are you supposed to get a factory to work when each year you're turning 20% of your people over? It's the same thing. So, any other questions? Where do you want to go from here?
So if you are continuing to get money, look for money for the robotics.
Yep. We are.
The district came up with transportation money.
I'm asking if you're gonna put your money where if you wanna put the money in the right spots, according to the teachers, who I think are the experts, I think put your money into those and you continue to offer some of those programs, if we have to keep offering them with a stipend that goes with it, if they have to pay so much, and then if we could pick up the difference between, some of that stuff, so we can still have junior high knowledge bowl, we can still have robotics, we can still have book club, we can still have all the play stuff. If we can subsidize that a little this year and hopefully, reevaluate what's going on next year, hopefully we'll get the grant and this will be a foregone conclusion, but until then, if we can subsidize, I'm not talking a lot of money, but enough money so that the kids can have opportunities, I think that would be a wise decision.
Do you need any kind of a motion out of us or anything?
Approval of the activity bus would be good, and then I suppose we'd have to have continued conversation as far as other programs go there. But I think putting the activity bus, I don't see that money popping out there.
That activity bus run 2 nights a week?
Three. Yep.
So that third night would just be catching kids that are in sports most
Right,
likely?
it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, because we've always done it around our activities, because that's how our school was set up. Wednesday nights, a lot of kids, especially, really that activity bus, it does serve some high school kids, but I think it really serves K through 8 because they don't drive. So the middle school kids and the elementary kids, and a lot of middle school kids have religion stuff on Wednesday nights, so you don't have that. And then Friday nights, there's a lot of stuff going on generally. So we try to hit those nights that have the heavy doses of stuff, so.
So you try to do like cooking club would be on a night that the activity bus is
It always
running.
is, yeah. And we tried not to put anything on unless it was something that we couldn't swing because of instructors, we try to put it on those 3 nights.
Takes a lot of planning to do that, right? Okay, folks.
Well, you want me to proceed?
I move that we fund the activity bus.
Motion by Tom to fund the activity bus 3 nights a week.
And it would only be from January to
May.
May. Yeah. And it's a short time in May, because generally by the middle of May we're done, so.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Lori is the second. Is there any further discussion on that? Any discussion? Just to reiterate, we're gonna extend activity bus 3 nights a week. It's basically the end of the school year, or mid-May. Any further discussion?
Mr. Ludwigson, you think we have money to do that
For the year,
for this
Like-
year?
we have just about 50% of our operating revenue in like reserve, so I mean, like, we have a reserve, it's just that, if we're not unfroze, then we have to make different kinds of decisions, but if we are really just frozen, it would definitely get us from one year to the next.
Well, we'll have to revisit this then next year anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion by Tom, second by Lori to extend the activity bus 3 days a week to mid-May. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And we go from there. Okay? Okay, technology, Mr. Mitchell. You have been busy. You're going to be busy with Skyward. Congrats on the grant you got, way to go. Woo-hoo. You borrow some of his money.
I'll be over next tomorrow.
Teach a security class.
Yeah.
Any other comments for Mitch? Thank you, Mr. Mitch, for getting that grant, that's super. This office, Sherry. I see you're, no more gray hair after the auditors left.
Yeah, we still have a few things hanging out there. We're working on receivables, fixed assets, and a little food service is what's still out there, so. But we should have, our prelim meeting before the next board meeting is scheduled for November 5th, and then we're scheduled to have, hopefully Caroline, that's who usually comes to present at the November meeting.
Okay.
So, we're on track.
Any questions for Sherry? On anything else, not just the audit? Okay,
You
next.
check out her little link, you can see what your house may possibly generate for taxes based on this PMA link, so. I just threw that up there so you can see, cause it showed.
So if you roll up, can you scroll up and show the thing? This was that link I put in the bottom of my report. So if you put in our district number, you can guesstimate a home value, and then if you put the IST numbers, it'll populate down into the graph below, and then you can take a look at what our people are paying generally on that value of a house compared to districts around us. Or you could compare it to Hopkins or Minnetonka, for kicks and giggles. But it was kind of interesting to me. For years, Briarville was always very low, and then now that they've got their new building project, you can see what they're paying compared to us. And then Sauk Center as well, they are paying quite a bit more. They had a couple years ago put in through that big project, so. But it's kind of fun.
Interesting. Anything else for Sherry? Okay, on to the principals. I see there was no report in the board book, folks.
I'm not sure why, I did email it to you when I got here tonight. So.
Ah, there it is. Everybody pull it up or no? We got Veterans Day coming, programs coming, times. Math coaching. Observing teachers, I screen for books. Cool. Mr. Root, I know a couple of kids that graduated from CNA course this summer are productively working and they enjoy it. That's what's even better. They enjoy it, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to bring that up. I ran into one of our former students at the gas station of all places, and he was pretty excited. He's going to culinary school, and that's because of a FACS program. So the CT programs, I know, I'm not gonna double down on what Kurt had said, but they're very important. They're a big part of it. More and more, you guys see, we're gonna be doing more and more of that in the future, so, cool.
And it says right there, number 3, hoagie sales, don't forget to find a band person and buy a
Or
hoagie
do tomorrow.
or two. Do it tomorrow?
Yeah.
Nobody's asked me yet.
Fruit sales started last Monday too.
Fruit sales are when?
They started last Monday, so they're,
Oh yeah, I got that.
yeah, fruit sales and butter mines.
People are having a lot of problems with the ad or whatever number was in the paper because I get a lot of calls to order hoagies. They say they can't get through on the number in the paper.
It was Amazon's issue today.
He said, well, this wasn't just the first
All
time
right.
it happened, but.
I'll be brief on this. This is more a clarification for students and for staff. As we find that cell phone policy, this is the next thing, so this keeps it nice and clean. So basically it's an addendum, of course, and we already put that in the handbook that administration reserves the right to make changes to policy handbook at any point in time. This is for you to see what this is, covers all aspects of that. We do have quite a few of our staff utilizing headphones in the classroom, which is totally fine. It just covers the ones where you wear earbuds and things like that, and listening to 38 Special during the day, which I'm sure there's a lot of kids that want to listen to 38 Special during the day.
It's like, who listens to it anymore?
Sorry, wait, but that's weird. No, but seriously, it just clarifies it, puts that out there. Kids have been overall been pretty good about this. And some of the cell phones, you're always getting, it's kind of funny, we have situations where there's we're chasing contraband items, so we have our procedures that we go through with the students. And that poor student, we say, okay, jump up and down falls they have tucked in his waistband, down falls the phone, and he looks and he goes, I know I'm not supposed to have it. But we get back at the end of the day. But so kids have been overall very good with these things, but these are just little things, just gotta tighten it up and everything. So a little bit of growing pains with this, but overall the kids have been really good about it, so.
Any other questions for the principals?
I guess I do have one on this headphone earbud policy. I know for me it drove me nuts when my wife moved in and They learned her studying habits and her kids learned hers. If they didn't have music playing, they couldn't study.
I don't disagree with you, what it comes down to is the regulation on it. How do we regulate that? I mean, it's either an all or none policy, I don't know. Now, the big thing is not so much the headphones as much as the earbuds.
Right. But there may be some kids that have trouble retaining information if they don't have that background noise going on during their study hall or whatever when that may be.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I will say we do have a lot of students in that boat, and so I know I have a lot of students, like I have a classroom headphones, or they have wired headphones that they plug into their Chromebooks. So like when we're typing essays, they'll plug them into their Chromebook, they may pull up background music, study music. I tell myself school appropriate music always to listen to appease those things. We have lots of kids that have gotten a lot better about advocating for themselves versus trying to sneak things or discreetly hide them behind their hair or the random things as well.
Or whatever way whatever side of their head isn't facing you, that's the one that's in. And then Jimmy's got that one in here, and then Billy, he's got the right one in over on this one. They're both listening to the same music. That's no good.
Tom, that's why we put in number 2 there, that covers that. And Ashley is one of them that uses them in the class, we have several, and that's fine. It's just, how do we regulate, because we get jumped then as, well, why is he having, and he doesn't get in it. It just gets to be a big mess, so we're trying to find a kind of a middle ground here. And you're right, you're absolutely correct. It would drive me crazy to have that music playing when I'm studying, but not everybody's the same, and you're absolutely correct. So trying to find middle ground at all times, so. And I'll be honest with you, it's like cell phones, we're gonna take them for the day, you can get them back at the end of the day. I do not wanna hold your cell phone, because that's the primary, it's cell phones specifically, and what, not so much headphones, it's cell phones specifically. What's the main communication link for some of those kids and their parents? And it's just the way it is now. Say landline and give a kid a rotary phone, he'd probably drive him just crazy, he wouldn't even know how to function, so. We understand that, so you get back at the end of the day. It's pretty rare if it causes a huge problem, we have to bring parents in, so that's a good thing.
Anything else from the principals? Okay, next on the list is the board. Have you been anywhere, done any fun, exciting things,
Oh, I did. I have the orders ready for you guys to look at maybe, I guess, from Happy Trails and Little Rose. And if you think they're good, I can send them out to the staff to, Linda, do you wanna catch them? To order 2. There's, Little Rose had quite a few different ones. There's embroidered ones, and then I think the screen printed isn't really screen printed, it's probably the digital printing, whatever that thing is now. But there's different options, they can do almost anything. If it's not on here, just ask them, and they both said they can find something. And then there's copies of the designs, I'll show you guys over there, the cool designs that they, oh, you guys didn't see it back there, sorry. They kinda came up with, oh, hers is, just take this one. Oh, it's only got 2 anyways. Just take this one. That they kinda did, for something different than just the big logo.
I think this kind of thing fits into our strategic planning, where we're trying to get our words out there. So more people are wearing this kind of stuff, it's pretty cool. To me, these prices don't look out of line at all. So how do we wanna do this, Lori? Are we each supposed to order our own?
Well, they said it would probably be easiest if the person, whoever wanted to, that's why I put the phone numbers on there, just contacts them to order, and then you can make arrangements. I mean, we could do a group order, but it would be hard for one person, to do it to order it and then, then if you wanted something else on it or make a substitution, like Kate said, instead of the student, staff, community, you could put the arts. She can change anything if you want a circle around it, if you want something off. She could, customize it to whatever you wanted.
So then we could give this list to the staff over at the
Yep.
high school or
Yep,
here.
and I would just
or
probably
kids.
make an email and just send it all and say, here's all these, this is what you can, or some ideas. Like Kate said, she could order, backpacks and tote bags and mugs and whatever else. I think you can even order watches, or I don't know what order she was all maybe not, like, oh, I don't need that much, but.
Would that be okay with your principals, sending out to kids and stuff?
Well, just the staff.
Karen, you don't think kids would order some?
Oh, they might, I suppose they could.
Or just to the staff, I don't care.
I don't know. Do you think parents would order this? I mean, I don't want it'd be something different than wearing the same thing all the time.
Wide and see what you get.
Right.
Have we done any shirts or anything at school other than like homecoming t-shirts or anything?
2 years ago we did, for a number of years, but we haven't for, we did not last year or this year so far.
Because I think these are really reasonable, people might buy a t-shirt or a polo or a sweatshirt or.
We would need, size.
Yeah, and I could have her get that. I know Kate said anything she gets an adult, she can get a youth. And then even like the t-shirts, if you'd want a yellow t-shirt with it on, she would do you a yellow t-shirt for something.
No, she will not.
I mean, she said she would. If you wanna be the ray of sunshine.
Well, that's true, sorry.
I think we just.
I passed them out. Oh, did you see it? You looked at it? Okay. I only made 10, but,
I have.
they're all over there, the extras are all over there, that's fine. I didn't know how many to make, and it was kinda killing my ink printer, and she just got my color printer.
Instead of calling?
I don't think.
What?
Can she just create a website and send it out to the staff?
I'm sure they could, like it's
It's a lot
just,
easier for
yeah,
staff.
like an online store she can make up with these
Right.
logos, yes.
Yep.
Are we okay with having Lori take charge of that? It's done?
She does have an email,
Yeah, she has
Bottom
an
if you
email
want.
too, yeah.
full color option
I'll let
for Little Rose anyway.
create a site.
I'll just have her do an online store and then I'll send you the link and you can post it and.
Yep.
And I don't know if Renee had a few things and she can do stuff too. I don't know if she has a site, but
I think she does.
I'm sure you could email her or something, I can ask her
Keep the buy
too.
from either one.
Right.
We'll get that done. All right.
Who can all go to the conference in January?
I plan on it.
15th and 17th, yeah. Cause registration opens up this week and if you want the reservations made for you, I need to know about it.
Can probably go. And Brian can watch kids again for a half day.
15th and 16th, you said?
Yep.
No, 15th, yep, okay. So far,
I can.
Going to the convention? Convention?
Already indicate,
Is that right?
write my name down.
as long as Lori can drive, right?
I got sport mode, I figured out.
I'll check with the other two members.
And I think we wanna be at the Hilton, yes, no?
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking, if I don't get on it right away, yeah, I can go stay somewhere else.
At least you're gonna drive me back and forth from home. Okay. Nothing else from the board, we're good. Superintendent, give us a shot.
Any questions on my report? minute too there. I think I did Robert's Rules of Order, always a fun one. They do our attendance, our enrollment, which is looking solid. Otherwise, I won't reread things here.
No questions for Mr. Ludwigson?
Is the calendar's farther down, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Got any board highlights, people? Been early to go to workshops, but
I think the stadium turned out well.
I think it did too. The ribbon cutting was a nice idea, very good.
I'd like to thank Jerry Blees and Strings, actually. Steve Petrie for all the extra help they did while we were trying to get fully staffed, and I'm pretty sure they were in over MEA too. Took us a little while to get our custodial staff back up to full speed, and Steve's been helping train in the new people, and so is Jerry. Great.
I know you did the walkthrough on the turf.
Yes.
That all go well?
Yeah, we found a few things that they were going to come in and take care of, and have they got in for some of those that are gonna get done this fall, Brad?
I know that they came on this weekend sometime, I think Thursday or Friday. And they did do some work on some of the cement stuff that we talked about.
Okay.
Because I saw that some of them was done. I know that the guy said that they would, for that one issue where the cement was, he wants to bring back a form, is what he says.
Okay.
So, and the track and field has kind of like two different bills. One is the turf part, which I'm not aware of any issues on there, so unless somebody has reason to object, we need to get that paid off so that cleared on the audit bill. Then the track and field, the Dunnex has standing items. Some of them will have to be finished up in the spring because one has a year warranty and some of the stuff can be fixed right away and some of it can't. I know we have to reseed around the discus and see if that takes. And then some of the seed behind the visitor stand due to, they had to re-break that up and relay it. So like the grass didn't come in as well there, so that might need more seeding for another example. Some curb work.
I know the auditor's going to pay that bill. Do we have to pay it in full?
The turf one we should, because it's 100% completed and we don't have standing issues. The track and field, they do recommend holding on to what's it called?
The retainage, 10%
The
retainage.
Yeah, okay. And the retainage, just make sure you come back and finish it out. We do want to hold on to the retainage. And it was actually recommended that we do. But the turf does look good. And they did a good job with that. There's a few things with Dunnex that we wanted to fix up a little more.
I have one kind of request there. I'd like to have that western boundary defined so I know where it is and exactly where our line goes there, and possibly even look at a fence sometime in the future, or at least get it cleaned up. The part that is ours, and if it's, I mean, it's a mess out there.
Yeah, where they still had some of that stuff in like black bags and stuff, right? Because I know when we did the punch list, I don't know if it's still sitting there, but that was on that list. They still had some stuff on the west end. But yeah, I could visit with the city about where the boundaries are drawn.
garbage out there, and there's branches and everything else, an on-tap well, other things, so. I mean, if it's ours, let's get it taken care of, if not, get the neighbors, clean it up.
Anything else? Okay, also under the superintendent was to discuss the evaluation instrument, which I put on in front of you there. This is what we approved last meeting. It's just what we have come up with, so what it's going to look like. And this instrument will be all online. So you're just gonna get a link and you're gonna do it on there. All we're asking then is when we evaluate Mr. Ludwigson, it's going to be only since July 1st, right? So we can't go backwards because it's not, he has started July 1st for us now. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. We would prefer, what the questions are highly effective, effective, developing, and ineffective. So if you circle, or on the computer, if you check off highly effective, or you check off ineffective, we want a comment on, explain to me, or all of us, as to why. Because when it comes down to what we're gonna decide to do in December, we want some concrete facts. We don't want just how you think you should do. We wanna see it so that it's an objective evaluation. Okay, so then in so doing, the computer is not gonna let you move on. If you have been putting a 1 or a 4 anywhere, it's not gonna let you continue on until you make a comment. All right, so you're gonna have to make the comment. And that is like on the 3rd page out, it says number 8. If you answered 1 or 4 on the above questions, please give us a specific example. If you answered 2 or 3, please type NA, and that will let you move on. So that's how that's all about to work. We want it to be, your comments to be not hearsay. We want you to know, I saw Mr. Ludwigson get his face full of whipped cream. That proves to me that he's out in the public. That's a concrete fact, right? Not that, I think he goes and plays well with the kids. Tell me why. Where did you see that? That's what we'd like to see. And then one other question, about when do you think we should send it out? Here's what our plan kind of was. Get it out in November, have a week about to fill it out and push the button to send it back. And then we would be able to, in December, evaluate it and see the results of it. And then at the December meeting, we have to decide if we're going to renew this contract for 3 years or if we're gonna non-renew. Right?
We're just doing this, or everybody?
Oh, I believe we talked about, and we talked about it last meeting, that it should be the board. And we're gonna have names, so the board members' names are on. And the administrative team, which would be the 2 principals and Mitchell and Brad and the administrative team, kind of Sherry. And they would have their names on everything as well. And then we would like to send it out to the entire staff, and that we would not put their names on. But we would get, I think, valuable information from the staff, just as we heard from Brad today. The staff made the very much good suggestion that we keep the activity bus going. So that's kind of things that I'm hoping we see out of this eval. Any questions or suggestions or?
I think if this looked pretty good to me, I think if the sooner that it gets sent out in November, the better.
Okay.
To get everything back, and especially if we're gonna include the whole staff.
Right.
Get it returned so we can, that's gonna be a lot of, well, it should hopefully be a lot of returns to sort through.
And the reason we went to put it on the computer, it should be push button, get results.
Right,
But, yep, I know.
Is the program set up to handle it already?
We got this far on it, Mitchell and I did it.
Okay.
So I think we have to put a few more things on
Okay.
and get it set up to send out to the right
You can make
mailing
adjustments.
lists. Yep.
We'll make multiple copies.
But I agree, why don't we get going as soon as it's feasible?
If you want.
And put a deadline on there that we want it back by something.
Because otherwise people will
Yeah.
forget to fill it out.
And strongly encourage the staff and everybody to
Absolutely.
participate, please.
You might wanna include a link to the MSBA, like, description of the standards.
Did you get that, Mitch?
Sure.
Got it. So people can look at what those standards are. Right?
Yeah.
Sound good?
Thanks for the executive committee here, they did a lot of work on this.
Yep.
I think it'll.
We didn't meet in person doing it, but we sent it back and forth, emailing back and forth, and so. All right, we'll get after that. Anything else there? You finished, Mr. Ludwigson? All right. Board highlights, we're done. Unfinished business of the Century 21 grant. And that we kind of talked about already, didn't we?
Yeah.
All right. New business, the donations. My, you're gonna get sick of listening to me. Thank these folks very tremendously, put in the minutes. For the new teacher baskets, the LP Chamber, Happy Trails Embroidery, American Heritage gift bags, Vitality Wellness, a 1-month membership, Double R Bar and Grill gift certificates, the Dairy Queen gift cards, and Little Rose Custom had some shirts. Meadow Place Assisted Living had some insulated cups and chocolates. Peace United Methodist Church had gift cards. Grego Bertram Lions gave $1,000 for the weight room fundraiser, an anonymous gift of $30 for the weight room fundraiser. Bits Plumbing and Heating out of Sauk Center is $250 for the weight room fundraiser. Nicholas Bruder was $400 for the Kylie Goff Scholarship. Todd County Fair, Todd County Agricultural Society, $100 for the Kylie Goff Scholarship. Axe Commit Transportation donated the trailer for a float use. Great Eagle Methodist Church, $200 in gift cards for the elementary. Happy Trails Embroidery with Renee Kramer gave t-shirts for the ribbon cutting. Nick Sorella gave Thunder Stadium and Thunder concession signs for the football field. The Trailer Center gave $300 to the class of 28, first place, high school spirit float. Enterprise CP gave $300 for the class of 26, first place, high school most creative float. Callie Christensen gave $100 for the class of 28, third place, high school most creative float. State Farm Insurance gave $200 for the 5th and 6th grade football, second place elementary school spirit float. 110 Coffee gave $300 for FFA, first place student groups for school spirit. Eiton Funeral Home, $200 for the varsity football, second place student groups school spirit. Minnesota National Bank gave $100 for the tennis float, third place student groups school spirit. Breitenfeld Group gave $300 for the FFA, first place student groups most creative. Rotary and Mindy and Eric Denny gave $200 for the varsity football, second place student groups most creative. Crystal and Troy Fritzler gave $100 for the tennis float, third place student groups most creative. Star Bank of Eagle Bend gave $200 for the class of 28 People's Choice. Matthew and Stephanie Mitzel gave $500 for the Tony Mischke Scholarship. Magnify Financial gave $100 for the 7th and 8th grade third place high school spirit float. State Farm Insurance gave $300 elementary color run, first place elementary school spirit float. Dance Prize gave $25 in chamber bucks to the teacher advisor, first place for color run. Gray Eagle Electric gave $250 for the weight room fundraiser. Little Rose Custom Creations gave $100 weight room fundraiser. Cash donation of $48.05 to the weight room fundraiser. Long Prairie Lions gave $400 to the 4th through 6th grade girls basketball. Prairie Family Dental gave $750 to the Letter Club. Advantage One Insurance gave $200 for the class of 28 second place high school spirit float. Vanguard Insurance gave $200 for the class of 26 second place high school most creative float. Daybreak Eggs gave 240 eggs to the FACS class. Alec Tech Welding Program gave welding medal to the welding class. And St. Cloud State University gave $3,000 to the robotics. I wish to say again, thank you to all those folks tremendously for thinking of our school in that such a lovely light.
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion to accept the donations as presented.
I have a motion and I need a second. Lori, second to accept the donations. Any discussion? Any discussions? Any discussions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Discussing the calendar.
So the calendar and board book is just a draft. I know, Laura, you noticed that there were some notes that still need updating on the side. However, the big reason for bringing it up is I've been talking with the administrative team, the union, and the professional development committee about adding, like, basically taking and having 2 more days of professional development. So basically the idea would be to have like 1 for every month for about 6 months. And so this was like some way it could maybe look. I know one possibility you could have is pairing one with a parent-teacher night where, you know, you could have like maybe parent-teacher during the day and then the PD in the evening instead. But like, that's not on this, but like, the purpose is to get thoughts on it. So if bring a proposed calendar that, and as I discussed more with staff, what that might look like. The purpose for doing such a thing would be to, as we work on the professional development handbook, to allow more robust planning for our events. And presently, what this one's suggesting is adding 2 more of those full days where we have like a morning of PD and then more unstructured time in the afternoon. But I know the big reason for suggesting it is that it's really hard to find meeting time for staff. After school is pretty much booked with IEP meetings and things like that, and staff meetings, and if we want more time for staff to get together to do PLCs or committee work, or even just to have time to do some of those IEPs, that I think adding a couple of days would be worth the investment. Plus we have the extra days as we learned from REDAC, that adding 2 days won't throw off our student contact time.
So the kids would have 2 less days.
Yes. Staff would have exactly the same in this suggestion.
One thing I noticed is that one day, the 11th of December, you have kind of as like maybe a, you know, personal development day. But then I see the, you know, you're off for Thanksgiving, then you're off here, and then you're off for Christmas. So I don't know, I mean, as a parent, it would kind of, you know, like last year when they had that extra day off at Thanksgiving, they had that staff training like the Wednesday before. It was kind of nicer to have that longer weekend for those parents maybe going away for the holiday. You know, maybe moving that, you know, in front of a holiday.
No, and it kind of brings up a good discussion point, because like, it's good to have that longer break, but then you also have a trade-off with having your staff in right before they have a break and not having their best attention. I'm not arguing against it, I'm just saying that like, as far as the reasoning why I threw out these dates.
Yep.
But like, Mr. Benz, Mrs. Sabula, I mean not Benz, As a former colleague, Mr. Root, I mean, what's your guys' thoughts on some of that?
I guess I haven't thought about it. There's pros and cons to both, is what I guess I would say.
Well, exactly, I mean, it's gonna be a give and a take on it, I mean, overall, we just need more time for that possible. I mean, that's just the way it is, and they're limited, I mean, whatever you take, you're gonna have to give up somewhere else, you know, Kelly's only so large, so.
Right. Would it work sometime for you guys to all sit down together at a table and go through that and see how that would fit with you? Would your staff appreciate 2 more workshop days?
It would make, like, fitting in IEP meetings and PLCs, which is part of the teacher.
I think we gotta get some.
Yeah.
So it turned into 4 or 5 bobbleheads.
That's what we run into,
Yeah.
especially in the beginning of the year, we're trying to figure out. SPED alone takes up a lot of oxygen just because there's so many federal and state rules we have to follow. And there's never enough time in the day, that's the problem, those meetings are long, and so anything that we can do to alleviate some of that, just in that area alone is important, but just classroom teachers in general, they really utilize that time very effectively, so, absolutely.
When I was in North Dakota at the Elgin New Leipzig, we did something similar with staff development where we had like PD time. I think we did like a half a day, but like having that time to do that stuff was why we got scored really high on our school improvement and the state cognitive assessment for a district. And so like, I mean, basically it's just like, it's like making time is basically what it does, because it's just so hard to find it during the day. Since we were having good audience participation, what I have found is that, I mean, nobody wants to spend another 2 hours at a meeting after school for a thing that's extra. And so if it works to put that on a PD day, that's usually a little more easier to do.
So could we leave it at that then?
Yeah, it's just, this one's just for
Together and
discussion.
figure out.
Because I want to get feedback from the PD committee and a few sources before proposing more of a like formalized one.
Board members, do you have any issues with that? So we're still gonna pay everybody 185 days. Kids get 2 less. I'm sure the kids won't whine about that. But the teachers will probably love it, I think. Okay, so can we give them consensus to go ahead and plan out? Right, got it.
Yay.
And then the comprehensive achievement civic readiness plan, you need a motion for that? We talked that out pretty good before with Brad was sharing with them.
I'll make the motion to approve the CACR plan.
I'll second it.
Okay, Lori made a motion and Tom is second to approve the CACR plan. Any discussion? Any more questions for Brad on it? Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Playground grant.
I'm gonna briefly point out before I bump on, just at the end of the CRA, there's lots of different data from attendance to enrollment projections to our parent square communication, so it's lots of stuff, lots of stuff there. So the playground grant is something that, I'm hoping third time's a charm, but the reason I'm bringing it up is that we have money set aside for the equipment purchase and for, and I have contributions from freshwater. However, so this first part, that's the equipment where the price is reduced by the grant. So like the other $40-some thousand is covered by grant. So it's kind of like a discount method. But then when you get to the installation, that was like the people in the early childhood are very interested in port in place for accessibility reasons. It's easier if like a child's on a wheelchair to participate in the different things on a playground. And I'll admit, I was thrown a little bit by how expensive it is to install that. You can kind of discount about $15,000 from that already from freshwater contribution. And the intent is to probably continue trying to find some funds towards that. However, I need to secure the grant, and since that was a little bit more, obviously, if you go fundraise and you end up shy, there's a chance that you're gonna eat the bill. So, I know for that, I'm not sure if you've seen that playground out there, but it's in desperate need of an update. It's jokingly referred to some staff, I don't advocate for this nickname, but the ghetto playground. So,
I know when I worked here yet, I wrote the grant to get that. So I've been retired since 2008. And that was well before I retired, so.
Is this the same grant that we got an extension on the time limit on this one?
pretty much, we had it last year.
Yeah.
And I reached back out and they were willing to grandfather the application in.
Okay.
And so, the other quick note is that our preschool program is at maximum capacity, so, and we do get funding for those ones that have special education IEP plans, so, I mean, I personally think it's an investment. But like I said, that installation cost was higher than I anticipated.
Comments on the board? What you were asked, do we need to motion to get more money there, or you just?
I would prefer that just because of the installation costs, the equipment costs, that stuff's, we've already talked about with LTFM and partners with Freshwater. And like I said, I'll continue to work with Freshwater and the Early Childhood to see if we can get some more contributions to put a further dent in that. Like I said, obviously, you know, there's a chance that you don't make that mark, so I want to make sure I'm up front and I don't catch anybody off guard. But I do think that that playground is in desperate need of an update, and I think that we do have $40,000 worth of grants going towards it, so I do think it's not a bad price. The installation gets you, but
That's everywhere.
yeah.
So where would the rest of the money come from then?
Well, if we don't have fundraising that catches up the difference, it'd have to be like a general fund, which, as I spoke before, we do have a good, healthy fund balance. But, so if not successful with that, it would have to come out of there.
Just gonna go out and buy a lottery ticket and then win. Comments, folks? I believe we would need a motion to approve the rest of the installation of that grant.
And you're still looking for other donors, basically, to try to help
The
offset
plan is
costs?
to like work with early childhood to seek contributions, but like, I have to be realistic that there's a chance that it doesn't go well. I would think for a playground that we'd be able to get at least some donations. And I wasn't so worried about it because I didn't realize it was as big an installation cost as it was, but then I saw that and I was like, oh, I better have a conversation.
What's the worst case scenario for, how much would be short at the worst case?
Worst case would be 60,000 if we got absolutely nothing towards it, because freshwater will donate 15,000 and we set aside enough money for equipment. So it's really just the installation costs I'm worried about. They are going to contribute cost towards that.
And the grant is for the playground itself.
Yeah, that's why it's caught off guard by the installation costs. And the reason they were interested in the port in place was to be more easily accessible to other mobility. Is what it was explained to me.
So would this kind of be more of one of the inclusive playgrounds, more so than a regular one?
Yeah, it's, not like perfectly inclusive, but way more inclusive than.
Right, but other classes besides preschool, could they use it for those kids?
Our younger ones really could. It should be good upgrades, but like probably more so with our kindergarten age down, maybe where it's small.
Okay.
It's still like a small space.
Yes.
Do you have a picture of what it'll look like?
Yes. In 1 second. That's a good question.
I was trying to picture it from Rainbow because I probably still don't even know what it was worth. That's from my house. Oh, no. No.
Sure, the color would throw in 5,000.
Things like that.
Three bridges.
It's called like a saucy swirl. Okay, that's the color palette. That's not
Like I said, if there was just all the money in the world, this would be easier.
Oh, yeah. The internet connection is a little slow, in case you're wondering.
Alexa would work at that time.
Alright, here is like an architectural type drawing. And so this is the edge of the building, and then like you have the sidewalk on this edge. This is the existing fence. And so this here would become poured in place. And I think our entrance, is over here. And so this is what the structure looks like. It's called saucy swirl. And we'd have to tear out the existing playground, but I think
There's lots, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, at least 14 different things for the kids to do on that.
Well, there's a wave climber.
Yeah, there's all sorts.
Bongos. Oh, that would be fun for the preschool teachers. Bongos.
Is there a picture, like a generic picture of what this is?
Without the extra drawing on it, you're saying?
Right, I mean like a picture at somebody else's playground.
Well, then I could have a saucy swirl maybe?
yeah, that should work. Give me a second.
Danny, what kind of a time frame are you looking at? You've already bought the equipment?
No, I haven't, because by the end of the month, I have to sign off and have the check sent to get the grant.
Okay.
So I just haven't selected.
And they're not gonna give us an extension this time, right?
Here's a bubble climber.
The money would go other places then.
Single curve zip slide. Chain link climber. Isn't this, is this the part?
At one time, we were gonna move forward with it, we were gonna
I don't know.
store the
Store
equipment,
thing.
because
He had
we
to go
wanted
get
a
it put
deadline to
together.
buy it.
Oh, really? He fell, he slipped off the step.
We still better buy the equipment.
Did he say he can't install it till?
And that's covered by the grant.
Or I
Can't
had to
install
go,
it, well,
we're gonna go to the doctor to get it put together. So he's got a scar under his chin.
Oh,
He can't go anymore, but. River walk climber, tree climber, oh, the saucy.
There's tons of stuff for
Wave
kids to do.
climber. There's 3 funnel bridge bars. I think those were those things going out the side, those 3 little swirly things. Swerve slide. Archway. Honestly, they could do one, but not for 50,000.
I don't think I'm spelling it right. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Ooh, look at that. That's not what I found.
So this is what it looks like. Because you can see that's like where the aerial drawing. And then this would be like a side view. I guess I could have took you to the color palette, that way it was probably faster than this. So you got slides and climbing areas.
Those kids are never gonna wanna go in.
So this is the one, this right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I finally found it. After they came up with all those other sauces. Oh, it's even got ring.
So that's one when we went through this game time, you know, between the price and then the choices at the price, because you have to have at least about $80,000 to get the grant, like half off. So this is about on the low end for that. And so that was one, the early childhood playground, ones who primarily use it thought would be a good fit for their students.
Okay, you need a motion to pay the installation. 60,000.
Yes, I would. We don't have to like pay it right now. I just need to pay the equipment. However, obviously if we get the equipment, we're gonna wanna install it.
You want a motion to move forward
Yeah,
the project?
yeah, I do.
And you're saying it's gonna cost us roughly 60? Unless we go get more funding.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need a motion that'll be about $60,000 or less to continue on with this program, with the playground. And I will tell you that they get well used, and I know when I put it in, it was a grant situation with freshwater and early childhood and all those folks to get it to work, so it's old, it's 20 years, and Lisa, you know, that's old for a playground center.
Right. Would Head Start be willing to put some money towards it? If freshwater is?
Maybe. I know that the first time I applied for it, that they had a little bit. This time I didn't have confirmation of it. I know Freshwater still was willing to. So I don't know for sure, but like, I'd be asking them. I know freshwater still is.
Because Head Start is still using classrooms here, yes. So then I would think they would participate there, so. Okay, so,
Yeah, I think the only thing, the reason the Head Start was unsure was because that some of the funding sources that we were having trouble with are giving them trouble.
that's all of us.
Yeah.
Could I ask one quick question before it gets approved? I think it's beautiful. I question the accessibility, like for kids to get up onto it. I'm sorry, I'm just seeing it tonight for the first time too. But is there ways for like kids in wheelchairs to get up there, or is there a swing in place to, we're looking at adding a swing on ours for wheelchair accessibility. So I've been looking at playground stuff a little bit, and I don't mean to throw cold water, I just wanna make sure that we're getting something that is accessible if that's what's being sold to us.
If you scroll down, it has ADA accessibility on it.
Thank you, Lori.
I don't know what those numbers mean,
No, I got it. Oh, shoot.
Like, I do know there's other stuff that is more so than it is, but then you need to pay a larger price for the equipment.
And
I would assume it means 12, it would
anyway.
mean 12 things are accessible, ADA or 12 things are accessible and 5 are ground level for them.
I think you said something about the staff picked it out.
Yeah, I had them go through.
Is it our staff or freshwater staff?
It'd be more so the freshwater, because I asked the ones that use it the most with early childhood.
So I would.
And I went through with like Eric Weber and Lisa Wick too. I'm not gonna say it's like perfect on that, but it would take probably another extra $30,000 to make it more so. So.
Like I said, I don't mean to question anybody's choice, that's something I just was curious about.
Well, it's a good question, and I think it's part of the reason that I think their opinion was that if it's poured in place, that it would be more so, and because if you have mulch, that would be difficult for like wheels and stuff.
Right, and ADA does consider the wood mulch accessible, just so you know.
Okay.
And it's a big challenge.
For sure. All right, I guess we're on a timeline for this, because you need to get it done by the end of the month.
Yeah, because they have to get the check for the equipment. I mean, I can figure
yeah,
out,
yeah.
I have more time to figure out the installation part, but the equipment, they need paid.
So.
It doesn't make sense to pay the equipment if I'm on
Not good, yeah.
can't install it.
You haven't committed any funds yet, have you?
No, but in the LTFM for the equipment, we set aside the 50 for it, but like I said, the installation costs through me. And so it doesn't make any sense for me to get the equipment if we can't afford to install it.
Oops.
Well, I will make the motion to move forward with the project if the playground equipment out there is bad shape and needs to be replaced, it's not gonna get cheaper to install it.
No, and I don't want a kid to get hurt either.
Right.
Motion by Tom. I need a second. Second by Chuck. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussions? It was a great discussion, it really was. Any further discussions?
Well, it's good to have that discussion.
For sure it is. Okay, motion was made by Tom, second by Chuck to continue on with the playground. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion, opposed? Motion carries.
Mr., do you need a motion on the addendum with,
I think
I think it would be good, just for,
minutes, official sake?
yes.
Didn't we put that in the consent agenda or not?
No.
No, so it's,
It was 413 policy, gotcha. Okay, and we need one more motion before we go home to approve the earbud policy.
I move to approve the earbud policy.
Any second?
I'll second it.
Second by Lori. Any further discussion? Any discussion? Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.